Hello, Merhaba. Today is October 7th, 2020, and we are currently going over the recap of what happened today in Ms. Perdomo's Digital Academy class for 5th grade magnet students. On our front page of our homeroom, we do have an area for students to submit their STEM challenge number 2 about their parachute design. So that is there for them so they can tell me how much they spent, what materials they used, show me their blueprint and their final product, as well as tell me about any challenges that might have happened. Today was Wednesday, so it's a half day. It's a little shorter than our normal days. We started with our morning meeting where we were learning how to say hello in Turkish, which is merhaba. Then we also went over the pledge and we got to see the new news crew, the Steamer News Network, got to show their first video. During our ELA time, we went over the Native American Mythbusters activity. That was considered a classwork assignment. It was the final decision that needed to be shared with me. That was then graded today and put inside of Skyward. So if it says that it's missing, it's because they have not sent it to me. I'll be working this afternoon trying to send out emails to every student letting them know about missing assignments with links to go to do those assignments so that they can improve their grades. Then during our ELA time, we also went over Florida Ready. We did pages 26 and 27 about Frida Kahlo together, and then I showed them how to write a summary after reading a text. They then on their own read about Cesar Chavez, and they're going to write a summary based on what they read in the informational text and answer some questions. This is going to be a 2-day activity, so they had 15 minutes to work on it today, and they'll have an hour to work on it tomorrow. Then during our writing time, I gave them several resources, and I went over those resources with them. So one of the first ones is hooks. I gave them, well, I'm in student view, so let me get out of student view for a moment. But here we go. For writing hooks, I gave them several different options for how they could begin their essays, from using internal monologue to dialogue to describing the setting as well as asking a question. You could even have action verbs or onomatopoeia. You could make a list or even use a flashback. You could even use figurative language or perhaps a famous quote. So all of these are here. I asked them to try one out in their writing to improve their writing because a satisfying introduction is important for a good essay. The next thing that I shared with them after the hooks was transitional phrases. This is something that they could print if they wanted to on their own and hang up in their bedroom or near their class area where they're working. It gives them different transitional phrases for narrative essays, informative essays, and opinion essays. I then modeled for them how I chose some of these different transitional phrases to include in my first draft essay, and it automatically improved the grade of my essay just by having a satisfying introduction with a good hook and by having transitional phrases. The next thing that I showed them was how I'm going to grade their writing. So I didn't create this rubric. This comes from FSA. This is how 4th and 5th grade essay writing is graded. We talked about how the highest score is a 4 and that the goal is to just score a 3. We're not trying to get 4s. We're trying to at least start off with a 3. If you're able to write a 4 paper, then that's awesome, but that's the ceiling. We're trying to get to the goal, which is just a 3. We also talked about what the difference is in writing between a 2 and a 1. So a 2 and a 1 is going to be unorganized. If the writing is about, talk to me about someone you admire, it's very hard to understand who you admire. You're not very focused in your writing. So it's partially focused or it's insufficiently clear what you're talking about. There's an inconsistent use of transitional words, or there's not a very good beginning or conclusion. They're an inadequate beginning or a conclusion, or just too brief. There are no transitional words. It's too confusing. It's too ambiguous. We also talked about how details make the difference as well. So if you're using repetitive sentences and you're not using a lot of details, that's also going to move your score down to a 2 or a 1. And of course, if you have frequent mistakes in your spelling, in your grammar, and in your sentence structure, that also lowers your essay. Now let's talk about what is a good essay. A good essay would be a 3. It means that you've controlled the idea to be throughout, which means if we're writing about how you admire Barack Obama, then the entire essay is about Barack Obama, and it is very clear that that is who you admire. There's going to be adequate transitional words. Adequate transitional words are going to be words like first, next, then, and last. They're adequate. But we have now been shared, I've given them more transitional words like furthermore, in addition to, that are stronger and more skillful use of transitional strategies. By using those, you increase your grade from a 3 to a 4. We then talk about how not only are the transitional strategies important, but also the introduction and the conclusion. To get a 3, you have to have a good enough introduction and a conclusion. To get a 4, you have to have a satisfying introduction and conclusion. Satisfying means it grabs the reader's attention. This is the rubric that I'm going to be using to grade all of their essays, and it's the same rubric their FSA writing is going to be graded on as well. So just understanding the rubric and what is the difference between adequate and excellent is something that we spent a good amount of time talking about today. Coming back to our main page again. After we spent time in language arts and ELA and our writing time going over hooks, transitional phrases, and the FSA rubric, then the students had time to work on their first draft essay to improve it. They only had about 15 minutes, but they're going to have more time tomorrow for them to work on their essay, and their essay is going to be due to me by Friday. I'll be using that same rubric then to grade their essay, to then put it in the grade book for a classwork grade. We had lunch on our own from 9:30 to 10. During our time of 10 to 10:45, we went over grades. Students made a graphic organizer where they can keep their progress report grades. I gave them time to go into Skyward so that they could write down what their grades are. I was teaching them that it's important for them to be accountable of their grades and for them to be proactive in checking their grades. That I am assisting them for this first semester of 5th grade by telling them that you're missing assignments and giving them links. But just like how you learn to ride a bike, I'm going to take away the training wheels and give them less support in the second semester because it's more important that they go into middle school being able to check Skyward and also use their planner appropriately so they're not missing assignments. So we went over how to check our grades. We also then looked at iStation. iStation is a non-negotiable. The school uses it. The school paid for it. So we're definitely going to be using it. So for iStation, there have been problems where it doesn't work on an Apple or an iPad. That means you're going to have to use another type of device. I'm asking you to ask your parents to make sure that you have another piece of technology, a tablet, a phone, a computer that can access iStation and download that. If you're having problems, you can contact our tech support through the county so that they can assist you. But again, it's not something that we can negotiate. We need them on iStation. The reason why we have iStation is to track the students. I can't just guess that they're doing well, and I can't just only use the assessments that we're having. By doing iStation, it's the same assessment that everybody is doing. It is tracking them essentially so I know whether or not I need to give them further support or whether I need to push them and give them further enrichment. And all of this is helping our administration as well as the teachers to make sure that they're prepared for FSA. So it's really important that they get onto iStation once a month to take the ISIP because it gives us valuable teaching information that we can then use. So we talked about how to find your scores. I then emailed them their levels and I showed them how to make a graph so that they could graph their progress and make sure they can see when they're going up and down on a line graph. We then did not have any time for the success plan check-in with our house, and we did not have any time to choose new representatives for our house. I just sent them off to take their October ISIP because that is due for this month. It's the beginning of the month, so we want to make sure that that is done. Then we had math time at our usual math time. In my math class, we were going over problem solving with money. They do have homework for this evening. Their homework pages are going to be on page 123 and 124. My 6th grade class, we went over review for the end of the module. We went over greatest common factor and least common multiple, as well as how we use those when we are simplifying fractions or when we are adding and subtracting fractions. We also went over specifically multiplying and dividing with mixed fractions and improper fractions. They do not have any homework this evening in 6th grade because they have a quiz that they'll be taking tomorrow. Then the students had PE with Coach Brem, and at the very end of the day, I showed them how to fill out their planners like I do each day. And finally, I read it briefly to them. I read aloud from the 7 Habits of Happy Children. So that is our recap for our hump day for Wednesday, October 7th. Thank you so much for watching.